dyno pull. And what we're really looking for, just finished tuning the CIS head, and the way to properly tune a CIS head is that under part throttle driving, I'm cruising at like 14.7 to 1, close to 15. And then as we're going into a high load, and I just finished recording a load, we're running approximately 12 to 1 air fuel, which was pretty spot on for this particular car. We're cruising at about 15 to 1 air fuel, and then as the power's coming up, you can see that we're holding roughly 12 to 1 air fuel, which is what we're really looking for. So this car is running nice. I think what we'll do is we'll pull the intercooler a little bit. We're looking for two conditions when I do this. We're looking to see what it's going to do hot and cold, and that will maintain the air fuel. Sometimes we'll just tune them lightly. This is, we've been tuning on the air fuel to get this. So here we are, we'll take it again. Let's just talk about what we're doing here. Typically on a stock 911 turbo, and this car only has about 10 or 15,000 miles, so it's a really low mileage car. It's been sitting for too long. The CIS unit got gummed up. We've gone through the CIS unit. As you can see, during a normal cruise, this is when I hit the throttle. You can see that it was running roughly 14.7 to 1 when I was cruising, which is really nice. And then when I snapped the throttle and the manifold pressure is coming up, you can see that it had a little bit of a dip below 12 to 1, but I shoot for roughly 12 to 1 air fuel, so they'll run forever. And this is making 239, and I swear every one of these I've ever done was 235 to 238 to the tire. So the car runs absolutely fine. The amazing part is that the performance is really amazing for a car of this generation. These were rated at, what were these?
282 USA, 300 Europe.
Yeah, so you can see it's right on. I've got an 87 Slantnose myself, and mine's very similar to this car. I've got a black Slantnose. Mine has about 15,000 miles on my car, and it made the exact same performance level stock. And the only thing I did was I changed the turbocharger to a factory Turbo S Turbo, which was a hybrid K27. A long time ago. They're way off the parts list at this point. They were really a hybrid K26. It was like a large K26. Looks just, it fits actually in the stock location, and mine it went right up to 285 to the tire. So a true 50 horsepower increase. Now, Tom, when we sold so many of these heat exchangers, we used to manufacture these heat exchangers for, oh my gosh, it was all the way through the late 80s into the 90s. And we used to put a K27 and a K29 on these, and these would effortlessly go to 425, 450 in the tire. And when we would put a 76.4 millimeter stroke in these, you would use that with the factory piston. We would change the squish area because the piston's coming up out of the bore 40 thou more, 1 millimeter. So we changed the squish area, and these things would run 500 to the tire, completely stock on the stock CIS unit. It was amazing. They would double the horsepower of what they're making now. These things are ferocious. We would also change the camshaft. I'm actually bringing my 930 in soon because I've got another set of cams for it. Since I have the S Turbo, I'm basically going to put the cams in out of the 1991 3.3 liter, which was for the most part a SC cam with a little different valve timing. So I'll probably come up to like 350 to the tire by changing the camshaft.
Yeah, this is amazing. Even though these numbers sound quite low for a stock car at about 230 something at the wheels, but the acceleration on these cars is just incredible. You would not believe it, because these cars are under 3,000 pounds, I believe, and that's at the wheels, and way ahead of its time. The 930 Slantnose, I think for a period of 10 to 12 years, the 930 Slantnose were the fastest factory cars.
Well, this was it. This put Porsche on the map. Having this 911 turbo, this was known as the fastest car you could buy. Back in 19, I think this car is either an 88 or 87. I believe it's a 7. I'd have to look within. But this car had a $99,000 window sticker in 1988 or 87. And it was the fastest car you could get on the street. It wasn't until, it wasn't until the 90s that cars started getting faster than this. And even to this day, like to your point, this is still like an amazing car. And they're tried and true. We, at the racetrack, if you had a 911 turbo, you ruled the track, that was it.
Right, in PCA club racing, everybody had a modified 930
Everybody had a
turbo.
modified 911.
And just going back full circle, back in the mid to late 90s at TPC Racing, which back then we were known as Turbo Performance Center. A lot of people didn't know that. That's what TPC stands for. When we started doing Grand Am racing, we were TPC Racing because the announcers thought Turbo Performance Center was too long to say.
Well, it took too long. If you remember when we started in Motorola Cup, we were live. We had live coverage, and they would say the Turbo Performance Center something, but we had to change it to an acronym, and it became TPC, so that they could right away say the TPC number car is out in the front, and this is and they could. So it really, that's where it all came from, the Turbo Performance Center. And remember when the shop in like the mid 90s, the shop was completely filled with either 964s with our turbo kits on them, which we did hundreds and hundreds of them, or they were these 911 turbos that we were putting K20, K29s, or we were doing, Garrett turbos. We were doing TO4s with a 60-pound cold wheel with a pretty sizable compressor and a nice AR on the cold side. And these cars were amazing. I mean, they made 500 to the tire with a CIS head. That's modern power.
Yeah, they're going back full circle.
Tom, think about it. We just picked up a Carrera 2. We are doing nothing more than we're using the Cobb access port. We'll be flashing the control. We'll do dyno in on this dyno. We will show you the stock file, a stage 1 Cobb file, then we'll have stage 2 and stage 3. It'll be everything from, you'll see a proper, tube and fin intercooler with carbon ductwork leading to the, with proper air management. And then you'll also see 2 turbos that are modified. And they'll fit in the stock location, everything will bolt together, and we'll probably end up at 550 to the tire. But that's on a 2024 automobile. In 1991 to 2, we were putting 964 cranks in these times. And we were putting TO4 turbos on these with a proper intercooler. And we were making 500 to the tire with a CIS head. That was stellar. It was unbelievable.
Yep, going back full circle, we'll have complete packages for the 992, just like we did back in the mid-90s.
Yeah, the only difference is back in the day when you had this car, you needed a professional shop, and you would disassemble everything to get like a set of heat exchangers, turbochargers, you had to make coil lines, you had to make all the parts. Now you will literally you'll get an intercooler that'll be a stock replacement. You'll get 2 turbos that are a factory replacement. You can take it to your car dealer and have them installed, and you flash the control unit, and you'll leave right making 550 to the tire.
Great, thanks for watching.